Hey folks, joining Lone Survival. So, today we're going to be talking about camo, how to pack it, why to use it, when to use it. Alright folks, so like I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about camo, or communications for those who don't know. Granted, I'm not a master of this stuff, guys. There's far more people on YouTube or other places across the internet, information available for free, that can teach you guys way better than I ever could. That being said as well, my experience with radios is limited. Mostly I train with my family. I have a few friends I might train with my radios, trying to communicate with each other in different times of year, different weather, so on and so forth, guys, different environments, so that we can understand how the radio works and what's the weaknesses and strengths of said radio. So keep this in mind, guys. We're going to start with PACE. Now, PACE is the acronym for Primary, Alternative, Contingency, and Emergency Communication Devices or Methods, or both. So primary for most people across the globe is going to be your cell phone, more like what you're watching me on right now. Okay, keep that in mind. October 4th happened. A lot of people were freaking out that the government was going to cut off communications. The government or bad actors, whatever it's going to be, one of the two, we're going to cut off communications either geographically in a location or all across the nation. Something I heard, I didn't mention it because I didn't really hear too much supporting evidence of it, so I didn't want to mention it. Now, that being said, I want you guys to think, okay, what would you do if that happened? Wherever you are right now, whether you're home, on vacation, at a friend's house, out on the road, what would you do if all of a sudden you could not communicate with anybody? Okay, information is very powerful. If something happens, like an emergency situation, and you don't know what's going on, you can't gather information about what's happening, you can make the wrong decision. You make the wrong decision, you could die. So let's avoid that whole situation there and focus on getting an alternative, right? Now, alternative-wise, I will say this, guys. Personally, I was going for a ham radio. I was going to get my tech license, stuff like that. I kind of stopped, a little more research. I personally decided right now what's best in my life, I'm going to get a GMRS license. Why? At least here in the United States, I believe it's $60-ish, somewhere around there. Somebody correct me down below, or I'll throw something up over here if I'm wrong. Because I thought maybe it dropped down to $35. I don't know. Either way, though, guys, what the GMRS radio license allows you to do is I'll get the license. My wife can use the radio, my oldest son, my oldest daughter, so on and so forth. Immediate family can use your radio, and you can have one license. Okay? Granted, with GMRS, it's a bit different and similar to ham radio. It's a bit different because you can't use ham radio frequencies, and they can't use your frequencies, so can't do that. That's a big no-no. Can you actually do that realistically? Yes, but I'm not trying to encourage anything illegal. Keep everything legal, please, guys. And don't tell somebody I said to do something illegal because I'm telling you not to. So, that being said, though, you also need different repeaters, so extended ranges. Say that you're bugging out to your friend's house, or your uncle's house, or whoever's going to be. It's always the uncle's house. Say your grandpa's house, whatever, right? They have a GMRS repeater. Not as common as a ham radio repeater, but he still has one. Okay, cool. He built it, whatever. You know the frequency. You're communicating with him when you know that you're in range. Again, that's because you traveled different directions to your grandpa's house, and you know, hey, I'm within range because I'm by this landmark over here. Sweet. I want to try to get on the radio and communicate with him. And again, it goes into radio communication security, which we're going to talk about in the final section here. Okay? So, that being said, you can go from GMRS, which does have limitations and whatnot. Again, just pros and cons, do your research. We're talking about ham radio. Okay, ham radio is far more common. There are repeaters that other people have built, either other people or the government has built for communication purposes. And a lot more people do use it, obviously, because it's more popular, which means that you can summon help, or more likely to summon help if you're lost in the woods, something bad happened to you, you have an emergency situation in the woods, so on and so forth. Along with that, your local emergency services, they probably use radio towers, i.e. the repeaters, to communicate. Now, granted, it does depend on where you live at in the country and what technology they're using, whether it's digital or analog radio still, so on and so forth, guys, what their frequencies are. But you got to learn all that stuff. So, not getting too far in the weeds yet, bringing up the ham radio, you do need a license here in the United States to actually operate a ham radio. It's like $15 for a tech license exam. However, you do have to study for the tech license. It's like 400, a pool of 400 questions last time I checked. And you got at least like 35 out of, I think it was 50 questions correct. Now, that being said, it's not terribly hard. You can go to hamstudy.org, guys, and you're good to go. But mind you, GMRS radio license, guys, you don't need an exam. You just pay a higher fee, and there you go. You're good to go. Well, higher fee than the ham radio license. So, again, do your research, pros, cons, weigh them out, guys. So, contingency. That would be more so your bubble-wrapped FRS radios that you see in big box stores that say 40-mile range. Bullcrap. Do not believe that stuff, guys. That's why I went with the GMRS. It's a more powerful radio, gives you more range, so on and so forth. But, well, I'll get to that in security too. A lot of stuff I want to say about that. Now with FRS radios, those little bubble wrap radios, guys, very limited range. For example, my wife can stay in our backyard of our house, and I can be out in the woods working, cutting down trees or whatever. If I go roughly 200, 250 yards into my woods, I'm going to hear crackling and garbled noise. That's all I'm going to hear. If I come up close to her, say like 200-ish yards, 190, somewhere around there. It's really weird and finicky. I can hear her just fine. So very limited range, especially in this stuff that you can see behind me. Very limited. Now, forgot to say this, caveat with GMRS and ham radio, UHF is the way to go in environments like this, where it's really wooded, vegetation, even buildings, guys. UHF is way better because it penetrates. These radio waves penetrate, they bounce around a lot better and a lot stronger. So, that being said, guys, emergency. Can be smoke signals, sure. It can be arranged sticks, whatever. But we're going to talk about symbols, okay? Which either one can do. So, symbols are great because, one, your family unit or your MAG, whatever you want to call it, right? Your mutual assistance group. If you do your due diligence, you actually train and you're doing the right things, right? You can make a marker on a tree, out of sticks, on the forest floor, what it's going to be, lean against a tree, hang in a tree, whatever, right? And they're going to know, hey, that's Jordan. He was here. He's saying he's traveling this direction. We got to go this way. Or, hey, Jordan was here because he's our scout or whatever it's going to be. And he's saying this way is danger, this way is safe. Okay, cool. Or there's a water source here or camps over this way. Wherever it's going to be, guys. Symbols are great because if you know it, awesome. If somebody else doesn't know it, then they don't know. So it goes back to the whole, you know. Anyways, going on to logistics. All right, so logistics. What do I mean by that? So you have your radio with you. Let's say that cell phones are down, whatever it's going to be. Obviously, this videos get more and more shit's fan related because, well, current times we find ourselves in. You're going to have to think of, okay, I have my radio. It's fully charged. I'm doing the radio discipline thing. I'm only talking when I have to, with them when I'm in range, making it short and concise. I'm moving after I speak, so on and so forth. Get to that, guys. You have to sit there and go, how am I going to keep this thing charged? Especially if you have a multi-day journey and you know your radio is going to run out of juice before you get to your destination because you've practiced this. Hopefully so. At least once. Now, you can sit there and rely on battery banks. Sure. Okay. Crank charge. All right. Solar charge. Those are the top three I would recommend, guys. Somebody said wind charging before at a, well, I won't say what I was doing, but at a meeting, right? And it's kind of viable, sure, and it's a lot quieter than the hand crank, but you need wind to do that, or you're sitting there just with the propeller looking like a weirdo spinning a fan in the woods. Whatever. Either way. Point being this, though, guys, have a way to recharge your radio. Now, granted, with the battery bank and the extra batteries, because I didn't mention that because everyone's like, oh, extra batteries. It is a viable option, yes, but the reason why I didn't mention that is because if it's temperature extremes, whether really hot or really cold, it can drain your battery life really quick in the device or outside the device. Ask me how I know. So, that's really it there with logistics. Other logistics concerns would be spare parts. Say that you drop your radio because it's an El Cheapo UV5R. Can you fix your radio? Do you have the tools and spare parts to do such a thing? Keep that in mind. Along with that, guys, you're going to want the knowledge, the training, and the experience. Again, get licensed, do things legally, don't do things illegally. This is me saying not to do things illegally. But train with your radio. Go out in different environments, different time of the year. Try it out, right? Get experience doing this stuff. Understand how the radios work, how radio signals bounce around and whatnot. Understand that stuff, even on a layman's terms, guys. Just do that. I'm not saying you have to be like a super geeky radio guy, and that's great if somebody is. That's awesome. Everybody has their own hobbies. That's fantastic. But I'm not one of those guys. I just know how to program a radio, and that's the other thing too. Know how to program it. general knowledge, but also understand everything else that goes with it. Okay, if it's raining out or it's really heavy vegetation, how's it going to affect my signal? It's going to be shorter range, obviously, yes, so on and so forth. Now, that's the other thing too, though. Okay, we're going to talk about general knowledge next. All right, so general knowledge category I have on my notes here, guys. We're almost done, like halfway through. You're going to want a notebook or some kind of written down log of your mags. I'm going to call it mutual assistance group. It can be your friends, family, your family period, whatever it's going to be. Right, you're going to want that written down of frequencies, channels you're using, at least for the day. Don't write down like the next weeks or the whole weeks of stuff. Don't do that in case bad things happen. Either, nefarious people have taken you out or you lost your logbook and somebody finds it, whatever it's going to be. Hopefully nothing happens, Yahweh willing. But the thing is this, though, only have that day's stuff. That way, when you do radio checks and they understand you're compromised, you have a backup log that everyone's going to switch to, and they go, okay, hey, these are now more secure, quote unquote, communications than we had. So keep that in mind. Know your mags, frequencies, and channels. Now, repeaters, okay? Understand your local repeaters, where you can get service from your local repeater at, how your local repeater is set up. Is it a direct power from the power company and the power lines, or does it have a backup generator? How does it all work? So on and so forth, guys. Now, that being said, too, know the channels for law enforcement, EMS, fire department, I dare say search and rescue, and possibly even your local hospital. Possibly. Now, again, look into laws, regulations about this stuff, guys. I would never contact any one of those organizations unless I was in dire need of help. That's the only way I'm doing that stuff. However, the other thing, too, though, how are your local agencies operating? Is it 800 megahertz frequency, 900, 700? What's going on with that? Can your radio even reach them in the first place? Again, back to general knowledge, knowing that stuff. Then that also brings to the point of range of your radio. I have a 16-inch whip antenna here. It does give me pretty good range, especially out here in the woods. Opposed to the stubby, I think it's maybe like a 6-inch antenna it came with or something like that, somewhere around there. But that does also point out to security as well, which we're going to get to. Hopefully I remember that point. But know the range of your radio depending on your environment, okay, and the power level of the radio as well, along with are you using VHF or UHF. So there's that. Now, shit's the fan, okay? Apologize if you guys don't like swearing, but crap is the fan. You're going to want to set up protocols of when to communicate. Say you're bugging home, right? Okay, so you're planning on bugging home. You guys have your own repeater or whatever, it's glorious times. Awesome, sweet. Okay, or you're just close enough where you don't need a repeater, whatever the case may be, right? All right, so like I was saying, foreign language. Okay, I would not do German, Spanish, or French. Not that I have a problem with any of those cultures, but they're really common here in the United States. I mean, a lot of high schools teach one of the 3 languages, if not all 3 languages you can choose from. I mean, my high school alone, we could learn either French or Spanish as a choice, whatever. I choose some kind of foreign language that's not commonly used in your country, whatever it's going to be. For example, Hungarian or Croatian or Serbian, something like that, guys. So one of those languages, perhaps, or even Polish, whatever. Just something that's not a large community of those language speakers in your area, right? That way you don't have, people who just know it secondhand because it's what they're raised with at home, knowing what you're saying. Again, it adds a secondary layer of protection because, again, not a lot of people know Croatian. At least people I know don't know Croatian. They can hear it and go, oh, they're talking. I just don't know what they're saying. Okay, cool. Keep that in mind. That's a big one. Again, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy going into that, and a lot of studying. But to me, it would be worth it, especially if it's something critical like, hey, we should get out of here. This person's crazy or whatever. Or like, hey, I'm coming in from this side or I'm moving over here, whatever, so on and so forth, guys. It just works a lot better than shouting in English, where obviously in America, English is the predominant language. So, that being said, you need to come up with codes for people, places, times, wherever it's going to be, things, wherever it's going to be, right? So if I'm going to go water my sheep in the south pasture, I'm not going to go, hey, I'm going to go, or this is Badger Butt 46, I'm going to go water the sheep in the southern pasture. I'm going to go, hey, this is Badger Butt 46, I'm heading blue whale. What the heck is blue whale? Or eagle flies? Just something like that. where your group's going to know what you mean, but somebody who's listening in may not understand what the heck you're talking about. You sound like a crazy person. So either way, radio security right there is alone. Granted, yes, these have to change over time, preferably daily. Even if you guys are sitting around the dinner table, say, it's your turn to eat, you're not pulling security, and you go, okay, hey guys, this is what we decided for tomorrow's code names. It's kind of fun, something to do, whatever. Kind of keep it sporadic, don't make it related. Like, okay, if you're dealing with water, I guess blue would be a bad idea because you're dealing with water. But say that, you're going to the garden, don't go, oh, I'm going to go, pull in the weeds. People can decipher, oh, probably the garden, right? If they're really thinking about it. If you're going to go tree bark left, I don't know, whatever. They're going to go, what does that even mean, man? These people are nuts. They could go like that, but it keeps you safe because you understand what you're doing as long as they're not watching you and have eyes on you. So, that being said, you got to learn when to speak and how to speak on a radio. If it's dealing with security and it's crap as a fan, and you're really scared about giving away your position, one, you want to have as much foliage or blockage of your radio signal away from the bad guys, right? Okay. So say bad people that way behind me, right? And my home's this way. I want to communicate with them exclusively. Okay. One, probably don't want an omnidirectional antenna, which is like this. Again, this is omnidirectional antenna. You want a directional antenna. So it's like, okay, I know my home is like 285 degrees southwest. Just work with me here, guys. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to point it there and I know, okay, hey, my repeater is this way. I'm going to communicate. What that does is take your signal from a giant bubble like this, per se, and makes it narrow like this. That way, even if somebody is sitting off to the side over here, they're not going to hear your transmission unless you're in the perfect line right there. Now, granted, each antenna has its pros and cons, so do your studying, decide what you want to do, what's best for your family and your group. Now, move on with this. Oh, you want to move after you speak. So if you think you're in danger, okay, transmit and then move. Because there's really cheap off-the-shelf stuff from Amazon, guys, where you can do signal detection. And when you detect a signal, you can do what's called a fox hunt, and you can hunt them down based on a lot of different scientific stuff that I don't have time in the remaining of this video. Now, just look it up. It's really interesting and kind of fun to do, actually. Now, talked about direction and whatnot, when to contact and why. And that's kind of the big thing, too. A lot of people always ask me, well, Jordan, I want to get into communications, or I need to work on this. What do I need to do? And they want to do like this far-reaching setup. It's like, guys, who are you trying to contact in the first place? How far away are these individuals? And if they're like downstate, like some of my family, right, who are planning to come up here in the event of something crazy happening, have this pre-planned. You don't need to communicate with them going, oh, hey, you got to get up here. No, they know. They're coming, right? They already know when the balloon goes up, they come to you, right? Or you go to them, whatever it's going to be. This needs to happen prior to this whole thing. Now, I will talk a little bit about digital radios versus analog radios, at least from my understanding of it, guys. Digital does add an extra layer of security. Again, no such thing as secure comms, but it does, against the average citizen, okay, right, add an extra layer of security, because most people can't afford a $200+ radio. Most probably won't do that because they want to listen to other people's conversations, right? But it does give you that extra blanket of security, because albeit digital radios are getting cheaper, but they're not down to this level. This is like, I don't know what it is nowadays. When I bought it, it was like $35. That's stupid cheap. Okay, cool. This is analog radio. If I had an analog radio and you try to talk to me on your digital radio, or vice versa, I would hear a bunch of garbled clicking and whistling and weird noises coming from you. I don't know what you're saying. So that's also kind of cool, but keep in mind cost, and also I do believe it takes an extra repeater or a different type of repeater for digital as well. So guys, that's what I have for combo, guys. That's what I know. As always, thank you for watching. Share, subscribe, like, comment down below, guys. Stay frosty, prep up. Yeah, bless. I'll see you in the next one.